Welcome, everyone, to the Puck Drops here. Once again, we've got the National Hockey League entry draft. And it is the 2021 NHL entry draft. For the first time now on ESPN. And the entry draft is here. What's up, Aiden? So that is going to be happening shortly here. The NHL entry draft, and we'll see who goes. I didn't complete. We want Power. I actually don't think you're going to get Power. I think you're going to get who is the Michigan player? I said I didn't finish my mock draft, but I had a good amount of it. Bernier's. So the NHL draft, of course, today we've had a lot of activity. Draft night. It's virtual, but it is draft night. We'll see who goes. There are the Hughes brothers, Jack from New Jersey, Quinn from Vancouver, and Luke will find out where he goes. I project him to join his brother Jack in Newark. There's the USA Watch Party in Livonia, Michigan. A lot of American players, a lot of University of Michigan players will go here in the first round. We had a lot of heavy-duty work done in trades. Let's read them all, the trades that have happened in the past few days of the NHL trades that have happened. We've had a few.
Fellow cast member Kevin Weeks on with ESPN and ABC for the next few years. Love to have you as a teammate, Weeks.
So the NHL draft room ready in the studio, and also the NHL draft in general. Here are the trades that have happened since the expansion draft. Probably it may wait maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm not positive. So we all know the trades the expansion draft. Let's talk about the trades that happened after the expansion draft occurred. The Coyotes, to help other teams with cap space, to eat up cap money, the Coyotes got Andrew Ladd, a second-round pick in this year's draft, a second-round pick in next year's draft, and a third-round pick in the 2023 draft. The Islanders don't get anything, but the whole idea is that the cap space of Ladd is freed up, so that's what they got. Yes, Philadelphia got Rasmus Ristolainen for a first-round pick and a second-round pick, and I'll evaluate if I like the trade or not as we go along. Detroit, I think, might have had the best trade ever, and I had to recheck to see if it wasn't a guy with a similar name, to see if it was the same guy, and I gasped. It's Bernier and a third-rounder for Nedeljkovic, who is a Calder Trophy finalist. Why is Carolina letting Nedeljkovic go? Detroit absolutely stole. Detroit just gave up a goalie that they weren't going to keep and a third-rounder for a franchise netminder. Steve Yzerman's just a genius. What a trade. What a trade. Coyotes, yes, they got Gostisbehere, a second-round pick, and a seventh-round pick in exchange for future considerations, whatever that will end up being. The Calgary Flames got Tyler Pitlick. You remember he was picked in the expansion draft by Seattle, the former Philadelphia Flyer. They trade him to Calgary. Flyers, as we said, got Rasmus Ristolainen. That's another big defenseman to go with Ryan Ellis for defenseman Robert Haig, a 2021 first-round selection, and a 2023 second-round selection, which means as of right now, the Flyers do not have any first-round picks, and Buffalo does have two. Buffalo has two. St. Louis and the Rangers made a deal for similar forwards. St. Louis acquires Pavel Buchnevich. New York acquires Sammy Blais. And this is the deal with the Seth Jones trade as well. The Blue Jackets got young defenseman Adam Boqvist, the first-round pick this year, a second-round pick this year, and a first-round pick next year for Columbus's pick this year from Tampa Bay, a sixth-round pick, and all-star defenseman Seth Jones. So the Blackhawks get a stellar defenseman as Duncan Keith leaves to Edmonton, but the Blue Jackets will get a young defenseman and more picks. And the final trade so far.
Well, it's not something that happened easily. You know, with the Seth Jones situation, he did not want to sign an extension with the Blue Jackets. The 1 week remaining on his contract. So
Vancouver and Arizona, this was more of a cap dump. Arizona acquires Jay Beagle, Louis Erickson, and Antoine Roussel, and the 9th overall selection. It should be also noted that Arizona did not have a first-round selection this year because it was forfeited due to the combine tampering. If you remember, they were at the combine and they asked illegal questions and did illegal vetting. The Canucks take Arizona captain Ekman Larson and a good young scorer Connor Garland. So they get the Erickson contract off the books, which was huge for them. Also, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but when free agency officially starts, Chicago is going to sign Seth Jones to an 8-year deal. But Columbus actually didn't do bad on this trade because John Davidson talking right now said, hey, you know, he wasn't going to re-sign. We wanted some value for him. They get Bokvist, who's a good young defenseman, and you go ahead and now you have more picks. You have 2 first-rounders and a second. One this year, one next year. You still only have 1 first-rounder this year because you gave up the first-rounder in the Seth Jones deal, the 32nd, but you move up to 12. Well, actually, no, excuse me. They still have 2 first-rounders. That's right. Because they had 2 first-rounders this year. They had pick 5 and pick 32. Now they have pick 5 and pick 12. So this is a rebuilding team with a young coach. You can kind of speed it up. And yes, thank you for the picks there, Trent. Those are the picks so far.
Jeff, you know that man. You work with that man. I will go through the Columbus Blue Jacket offices this week. When you're forced to make a deal like this, a guy you know who's going to walk has an issue. Yeah, I think the reality is.
And yeah, that is it. Minnesota from Pittsburgh. And Chicago's pick will be the last pick of the round because they have the pick from Columbus from Tampa. I believe that pick actually originates from the Savard deal. If you remember Savard in the trade deadline, who was dealt to Tampa Bay from Columbus, they got a first-round selection there, and it was that worth it? Really not. And now they get the first-round selection, but that goes over to Chicago in the Seth Jones deal. So this is a good trade, I think, for the Blackhawks and for the Blue Jackets. I want to talk about the Flyers, though, for a second. The Flyers, I felt they spent a lot more than they had to. Rasmus Ristolainen is getting a lot of garbage online about how he's not a good statistical defenseman. Well, he's a good shooter from the point. I like his game. He's just got to get a bit better. The Flyers did pay a lot for him, and they didn't say if they were going to re-sign him yet. So we'll have to see how that goes.
And he signed a big extension. Seth Jones does in Chicago. Not hockey city. Welcome Seth Jones for a long, long time. Well, of course, this is draft night. We'll have trades, so hopefully there's another big one.
Some more big trades happening. And everything. So tell me, guys, who you think is going to go number 1 overall? Most of the world thinks Owen Power. I don't think so. I think it'll be Matthew Beniers. Beniers. There's Kent Johnson. There's Beniers. There's Power. These are top players at the University of Michigan. We know that Beniers is coming back. Luke Hughes as well, who played for the University of Michigan and the United States National Development Team, who may join his brother with the Devils. William Eklund, they had the big Swede, the best player in Europe, had going to Detroit. I had him going to Columbus. Dylan Genther versus William Eklund, who's better? And I want to see where they have Aatu Raty going. Not in the top 10. I don't believe I had him I did not have him in the top 10 either. Aatu Raty is a good offensive player, but he's not great defensively, and he's a bit raw. Johnson is going to go first? No way, Trent. There's no way Johnson goes first. Absolutely no way. It's Beniers or or power, and I say beignets at number 1. Obviously, the Olympics is today, but I will be broadcasting the NHL draft here for you all night. After the draft is over, though, guys, we're not going to have any commentary. We're not going to have any commentary. Ignore the background noise, guys. We're not going to have any commentary because I have to go to work tomorrow, so I have to immediately go to sleep. Should have the draft soon. Not sure exactly when it's going to start. See how many trades we do get. No first-round selection for Vancouver due to the trade with the Ekman-Larson trade. But, yeah, we'll see that. Now, I saw some statistical talk about Ekman-Larson. Why would you take Ekman-Larson? He's a guy that, you know, why would we even want him? You know, he played bad defensively in Arizona, and the Canucks have a worse defensive system. Why would you do that? What's the purpose? The purpose is he's going to make the defense better. He's going to make the system better. And he's probably going to play with – I think he has more weapons in Vancouver than he did in Arizona. Since he was a rookie with Hansel and Doan and Ray Whitney and Vibrata.
It was seismic time. We were joking before the show about not combing my hair. It all blew up with all the trades today. I don't have it anymore. But, it was a huge day. The Vancouver Arizona deal was a huge trade. As you mentioned, the Chicago trade with Columbus was a huge trade. Buffalo was already...
Do we think there's going to be any other big deals today? Guys who are here, let me know. Do we think there's going to be any big deals today? Any other big deals and trades? I think there'll be some big pick-for-pick deals, but I don't think we're going to see too many active NHL players swapping hands.
I think another Sabres player, I haven't heard as much about Eichel today, one, because the price on him has been so high, but I have heard a lot of talk about Sam Reinhart.
Reinhart's being shopped, guys. Eichel, not as much. Now, Reinhart, if Buffalo can get a first-round selection for Reinhart, that would be unbelievable, but I don't think they can get that. Hockey Talk, Trent, if you be normal about it, then sure. If you're normal about it, then yeah.
Thank you so much, Elliot. Let's do it. After a short timeout, it's time to begin the 2021.
They're going to go to commercial, and then the draft should be beginning. Hey, Trent.
Amy Brookie.
You're gonna be normal, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the Ristolainen trade? This is Trent, everybody, the Philadelphia Flyers fan that is a close listener to and viewer of the show.
Yeah, the weird kid.
Nah, you're not that weird. When we say that, we kind of joke with you. But anyway, Ristolainen, how has that helped?
Trash.
You didn't like the trade?
No.
I felt you guys got a great defenseman. I felt you guys spent way too much.
Yeah.
A first and a second is a bit too much. Remember, they already got Ellis. I don't know if you know this, but do you know who Chuck Fletcher is? Do you know his previous experience or no?
No.
He used to be the GM of the Wild. He was the guy that, brace yourself, he was the guy that signed those ridiculous Parisi-Suter contracts. Remember those contracts?
Yeah.
He signed those in Minnesota. So he likes to spend a lot. That's the GM of the Flyers. I was saying this to my dad. Because you guys know my dad's a Flyers fan. I said, I liked it because he never liked Ellis. Like, just, I don't know. But he was like, he's good. Like, I don't like him, but I know he's really good. So I'm happy to have him. And I'm happy to have Ristolainen. But I said, your team's good, but he's spending a lot. But I feel like in the 2 to 3 years, if you don't really do anything, it's just going to be awful with the cap. You guys have so many guys booked. You have so many guys on contract. And now the Flyers now don't have a first-round pick in the draft.
Yeah, they gave it to Buffalo or whatever.
Right, as Buffalo now has 2.
Yeah.
Are we on yet?
Do you think you trade up for a pick, or do you kind of just wait it out?
I thought we were doing a Zoom
Wait.
thing.
Confused?
Yeah, I mean,
Just need to
and you already traded Gostisbehere. I'm wondering what the Flyers are getting for that. Because the Flyers gave up a pick for Arizona to get Gostisbehere. They said future considerations. Does Gostisbehere have a lot of cap? He must.
Yeah, I think so.
Where do you think my Devils go?
What?
Where do you think my Devils go?
I'm not sure.
I say Hughes.
Yeah.
I say they take Luke Hughes, the brother of Quinn and Jack, because, Jack said he wanted him, and also the fact that if Power is there, you take Power over Hughes. I don't care. If Hughes and Power are there, you take Power. But Hughes, I think, is the second-rated defenseman in the world behind what's his name? Behind Power. Now, Hughes is not the same type of defenseman Power is. They've played together, but Hughes is more of a puck-collecting blue line guy.
Yeah.
And Power is a guy that's going to lug it, and he's going to hit you. I kind of want that more. But Power's probably not going to go to the Devils.
You said Jack Hughes, and on the TV, they were showing Jack Hughes.
I know that. They're showing the Hugheses, yep.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, they showed the picks there. I think Columbus could have a really nice draft because they're going to have 2 picks. Problem is you got to replace Seth Jones, so they're going to have to go defense. At 5, I had them taking Eklund, who is the number 1 player in the world in Europe. He is the best player in Sweden. He's a big winger. He's got a sharp shot, and he's very fast. Wild card for me would be Aatu Ratti. He reminds me of Kasperi Kapanen, but he could be better or he could be worse. He's a project. Oh, draft's about to start officially now. Look, this Bettman's talking.
And the role it plays in focusing on the future. The NHL draft is both the closing event of one season and the opening act of another. So let me begin by wrapping up the season just ended. Congratulations.
Yep. So I don't know if you can hear Barry Bettman. I'll put it a little louder.
Since 1998.
And as we're waiting to start this draft.
Congratulations also to the Montreal Canadiens for their inspiring run to the final. And speaking of the Canadiens, thank you again to Jeff Molson and your organization for being patient with us for one more year. Our plan is to be with you next year to conduct the 2022 NHL Draft in front of a packed house at Montreal's Bell Center. Yes, for the second straight year, we are coming to you not...
Seeing a trade alert. Oh, no, this is the same one. Oh, Columbus gets Jake Bean from the Hurricanes in exchange for a second-round selection in the draft. That's a good trade for Columbus guys. Bean is a good young defenseman.
Yeah, I see that right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember Game 1 between the Lightning and the Hurricanes?
By our new partner, ESPN. Welcome, ESPN.
Hello, Trent?
Hello?
Do you remember Game 1 between Carolina and Tampa Bay this year? And they got a goal from a defenseman that was Bean. He's a good young defenseman. This is a good pickup for Columbus. It's not bad for Carolina to get a second. Carolina can't afford to lose a lot, though, because Carolina, in my opinion, was the team that I thought was the best equipped to win the Cup this coming season. That's who I was thinking of doing the preseason. I don't know now, because they've lost who I think is their franchise goalie. And they're starting to lose depth. It's
I
not.
have a question. Did you see the Cleveland Indians change their name to the Guardians?
So I didn't know what that was. I saw that. I thought that was it was a new affiliate, like a new minor league baseball team. They changed their name. Wow, cool.
And there they are.
Buffalo is on the clock. Draft has started. Buffalo Clark? Do you take Power? Do you take Berniers? Do you take Kent Johnson? Maybe Luke Hughes? Seattle's got the second pick. That's right. We know Tommy's going to be very into that. And then Anaheim holds pick 3 and the Devils pick 4. Number 1 overall picks. There have only been 3 number 1 overall picks in Sabres franchise history. Gilbert Perreault, Pierre Turgeon, and Rasmus Dahlin, and all these guys are great. Dahlin, we'll see what he becomes. Turgeon and Perreault, obvious Hall of Famers. Part of the French connection. It really helped the Buffalo Sabres become a power in the 1970s.
I don't think that there is any other way in which the
What
Buffalo
was I gonna
Sabres
say?
can go
You know, I'm a pretty retard.
Pretty much everybody's saying Power. I say Beignets, but we'll see. What?
Oh yeah, the Flyers play Canucks, Kraken, and Boston the first 3 games.
I didn't look at the full schedule, but I know that the Devils' home opener is at home against Seth Jones and the Blackhawks.
Nice.
So, well, I kind of was expecting more of a rivalry type game, but no, it was start against the Western Conference team. Okay. And we only play them twice. We're only going to play them one other time, and that'll be in the United Center. In fact, that opener is going to be the first and final time this season the Blackhawks will find themselves in the Prudential Center unless both teams end up in the Stanley Cup final, which is incredibly unlikely. It would be a miracle, I think, for either of those teams to get to the final, let alone both. But who do I think is going to win the Cup next year? I thought I knew, and now I have to go to square one.
You know what? Can you put the pick into the hockey, the chat? I want to watch the Olympics.
The Buffalo Sabres.
Sure.
From the key bank center,
Here's the pick.
surrounded by a fair number of
Here's the pick, guys.
Kevin Adams, the Sabres GM, will make the first pick.
On behalf of the Buffalo Sabres and all of our great fans, we are proud to select from the University of Michigan, Owen Power.
It's Owen Power. Owen Power with the number 1 overall selection. The whole world thought he was going there. The big 6'6" defenseman. They got rid of Ristolainen, and this is going to be the guy replacing him. Big defenseman Owen Power, 6'6", 213, left-handed shot. The first defenseman over 6 foot to go number 1 in the National Hockey League entry draft since the Blues selected Eric Johnson in 2006. And the Buffalo Sabres take Owen Power. This is a big guy. This is a really tough player who can hit, and also got that really smart shot. He reminds me a little bit of a Jonathan Ericsson. He's a guy that's smart and can move the puck well. Maybe even like a Victor Hedman type guy too. He is a guy with 26 games, 3 goals and 13 assists from Mississauga, Ontario, but he didn't play for the Steelheads. So he will play for the Buffalo Sabres to start and not go back to school. Owen Power, who is that real sizable, smart defenseman for the University of Michigan, and they get their first overall selection. Michigan's going to have a great draft tonight, though. In fact, the second Michigan Wolverine might go right now, and that is Beignets, who Seattle now has the pick.
Plays there, lights it up there. Goes to University of Michigan. For a freshman, I thought he lived up to. You are on the college hockey beat. Then he goes to the men's worlds and says, hey, look out, NHL players. I can play here too. And as the tournament went along, ends up being a key piece of the gold. So from a progression standpoint,
Owen Power also played a lot on the World Junior American team that won in 2021.
all that being said, he's played so much hockey and excelled at all these levels.
Yeah, Michigan.
And now we'll see.
There were no fans. He didn't
Sorry for the close-up. And now we will see what happens with pick number 2.
It could be a lot of fun for him. And then join the the Sabres maybe in March or at the end of the year.
Well, the World Juniors, they didn't have the opportunity to go last year. It would have been 51 days gone from Mel Pearson's team. They couldn't afford that. So maybe that opportunity presents itself, and hey, you join at the end of the year. But that progression, there was a little bit.
You go back to the draft?
He got hurt. He got put up in a pairing with Troy Stetcher,
This is
and they couldn't
literally
take him
one
off that
for
second pairing. He was that good. By the end of it, he's playing all the high leverage minutes. Every important situation for Gerard Gallant there to go.
I guess I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some of it after, though.
That says a lot.
Let's talk Seattle Kraken. We just had the expansion
oh
draft
my
Wednesday
God.
night.
Oh, actually, no. I can't watch it after because I got work tomorrow morning. Can't do anything. Seattle, who had their expansion draft, of course, we know all about that. This will be their first ever NHL entry draft pick. Now, remember, Vegas had their entry draft pick, Cody Glass, in 2018, excuse me. Or no, it's 2017. But they missed the chance. They missed the chance to draft a huge high pick because it was pick 7. This is pick 2, so they lucked out in the lottery. Line for Seattle Kraken looks like it'll be Donskoy, Gordon, and Eberle, then McCann, Yarncrook as well, and a defensive pairing, Giordano and Larson. Obviously, Pitlick's not there because he was traded earlier today.
Create an identity, and how do you do that? You take a player like Matty Beniers, who is the representative of what a blue-collar town would be like. A guy who works both ends of the ice. A guy who's
Yeah, I see that. It looks like they probably will take Berniers. I thought Berniers was going to go number 1 to Seattle, to number 1 to Buffalo, and then Power to Seattle, but it will likely probably be Berniers here.
From the Space Needle in Seattle.
Seattle's going to make their pick now.
The Seattle Kraken, Ron Francis, will make the number 2 selection.
On behalf of Mr. David Bonderman and our entire ownership group, I'd like to thank the commissioner and the 31-member clubs for welcoming the Seattle Kraken into the National Hockey League. And on behalf of our passionate fans, I'm proud to make
Seattle will
this
select-
the first ever amateur draft selection for our team by choosing from the University of Michigan, Matthew Beniers.
It is Matthew Beniers. The hardworking center goes to Seattle and will become the first Seattle Kraken player to be selected in the National Hockey League entry draft. He's a big guy, bigger than I would have thought. But a heady center, can win faceoffs. Hingham, Massachusetts native, the first American player to go here. The second University of Michigan player to go. He played in the World Junior Championship and the World Championship. Played 24 games, 10 goals, 14 assists for the University of Michigan. This is a guy that's going to be smart on the faceoffs. Bit of a Blake Wheeler type player. Just smart passer and also can really head the play. He's physical and pushes the pace. This is going to be good for Seattle. He said he wants to go back to school. We'll see if he goes back to school. He doesn't need to start immediately in Seattle. They have other options. And now the third selection, which belongs to Anaheim. Now this is where we start going, oh man, they could reach here. I had them going for Mason McTavish, the Canadian-born center that played in Canada and also in Switzerland. So McTavish I have going to the Ducks.
Yeah, Ron Francis just calls him Matthew.
See who it is.
His name is Matty. He's not a matter of Matthew. That's just not his personality. His mom was actually a Broadway actress, and he once was a theater kid himself. Now a bit more of an academic. He was committed to go to Harvard. Season was canceled. Went to Michigan instead.
Beignets actually was supposed to go to my favorite hockey school, Harvard, but ended up going to Michigan. And, if he wants to go again, he can, but he is officially a member of the Seattle Kraken. And the second selection there, he'll help them. He's going to be a top-tier player with them in a year or two, but he's not going to get top minutes, obviously, yet. As just being a rookie, just being drafted about a minute ago.
Kraken was set to go to Harvard, a very high-achieving family.
Yes.
Mom went to Cornell. Ends up at Michigan. What are the Kraken fans who are watching tonight? Great ratings the other night. Kraken fans out there for the expansion draft. What do they get in Matty Beniers?
They get the entire package. They get a kid who's got great character. They get a kid who can play, as you mentioned, the full shooting of the ice. But there are
What?
a couple of key moments that I was looking for.
I'm not gonna say
First was
that
at the World Juniors. Here's a guy who at the World Juniors looking defensively responsible right
Good.
now. Yeah, now take the puck and go.
Anticipate the play. Just looking at Bernier's here, some of the skating ability. He's fast, he's strong, he can really move the puck, and we'll see how he does. I don't know if he goes. I don't know if he. The thing is, I'm still trying to figure out if he will go back to college, because he said he was, but then it was like, is he going to? Is he not going to? And Matty Beniers will be a good NHL player. It's just depending on him how long he feels like he has to develop, and how long Ron Francis wants to wait. Now, Ron Francis is a patient guy, so he's a very patient, conservative general manager.
It would be Power and Beniers 1-2. Now we're not really sure. A great night for Owen Power and Matty Beniers. But
The two Michigan players go, Beignets and Power, then Beignets. Anaheim with a minute 20 left in the clock. Their pick should be coming in soon. We'll see who they go. Maybe they go another Michigan player. Maybe they go Kent Johnson. As I said, Mason McTavish, but we'll see. Little loud. So yeah, I know. I'm making sure you could hear it. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Just got to get some water. Once we get back, Anaheim should have the pick. And then it'll be the Devils' pick, and I'm going to be biting my nails.
The easy-to-use vehicle selector on CarParts.com. We put the exact part you need right at your fingertips. No guesswork, no hassle. Just enter the year, make, and model of your car. You'll save up to 50% and find the right part fast. Turn that store into a parts store on demand, where every part is guaranteed to fit. Get the right parts right now at CarParts.com.
Let's go, Devils. Yes. Let's get a good draft pick. Ducks are up now, though. Still a commercial. What were you saying, Trent?
I was hoying the stream while you were gone. Kidding.
So heroes for the
I thought about it, but I was like, nah, I want to go Discord link. And Nathan always tells me I'm a good guy, so like.
Hats off to you.
Yeah. No, you guys are good. I just, it's kind of crazy because I haven't been on doing stuff with my channel. In the summer, it's kind of like I can't do that much. So.
Can't watch the Olympics. I see freaking Japanese people freaking dancing.
Well, yeah, because it's the start of the thing. It's not really the Olympics today. I would dance on a wooden table if I was excited enough. We might trade something for San Jose. Why would you trade something for San Jose? Why would you trade down? There's no reason to trade down. You can get a good player. Anaheim's pick is in, guys. If you're the Devils, I would go. No, I told you McTavish is my opinion for it. We'll see. There's been a lot of trades. Usually when there's trades before the draft, like a lot, it usually isn't that much during. We may see more trades tomorrow. I'm working, so I can't stream that.
Is this the freaking Summer Olympics or the Summer Twins dancing?
I don't know, bro. I'm not watching that. All right, Anaheim's pick. Let's see who it is.
From the Honda Center with fans on the arena floor, the Anaheim Ducks selection, number 3, will be made by Executive Vice President and General Manager Bob Murray. Bob, you're up.
Bob Murray, the long architect of the Ducks, will make this pick.
Freaking K-pop.
The Anaheim Ducks are proud with the 3rd pick of the 2021 draft
Happy and excited to draft from the Peterborough Pete's hockey team, Mason McTavish.
It is McTavish. I was correct. It is McTavish. It will be Mason McTavish to the Anaheim Ducks. The center, the big center from Canada, the first non-collegiate player to go in this draft. Mason McTavish from Ontario, played with the Peterborough Petes, and he's a goal scorer. He's a big top guy that likes to rip it, very Ryan Kessler-like, and this is goal scoring, and that's what the Ducks want. They want big goal scorers. Basically, Perry Getzlaffian, like that. Like you take big. I'm not saying he's Perry or Getzlaff, but I'm saying it's a big physical forward that can score goals. That's what they want. So Mason McTavish will go to Anaheim. So now pick number 4. New Jersey is on the clock. Guys, you got to go Hughes here. I mean, you could go Eklund. There's that. You could go Kent Johnson. They do need, but they don't need a top center, I don't think. They need defensemen. I think Hughes is the pick here. What do you guys think? I think Hughes is the pick. What do you think, Trent?
I'm not sure.
As the games went along, he got better and better. And I love the power that he showed. He was born in Switzerland, by the way, so people don't recognize that. That's to your point, how he was able to go over and play in the Swiss.
I think Luke Hughes is the pick here.
Yeah, probably.
So, Power Berniers, I had it flipped. McTavish, I had that as well, and the Devils will have 4. Then behind them are Columbus with 5, Detroit with 6, and San Jose with pick 7. Tradeler, we knew that. That was the Jake Bean trade. That's been the most recent trade after a day of flurry. This has been a really busy day in the National Hockey League.
Peter, if you look at that and see that, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Go to Discord. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know. I'm not.
Real skilled defenseman, wonderful skater. Now also adds a little bit of a reach in his game, which can certainly add any defender's plus rating there.
Yeah, and I like it because he's so young. So that makes the ceiling is higher for this player. I love what he said to us in the interviews. He was talking about, hey, you guys are talking about empowering this and that. What about me? What about me a year older? I love the confidence, the swagger he brings to the table.
Can I get a whole
Hughes is the guy that I would say probably is the one that you go, and they're agreeing that this would be somebody, and he's kind of perturbed that everybody's talking about Power. I think one of the reasons why his game hasn't been recognized as much as Power's is because Power's size. Power is a prototypical huge defenseman that can use his body even if he's not very physical. Hughes is a much smaller defenseman, smarter, better offensive numbers, but he has to work 3 times the amount that Power does because he's such a small guy.
All indications were from last year to this year is huge strides in his overall game, his thinking process.
So we'll see if Hughes goes and if he joins his brother in Jersey. Devils are on the clock right now. I'm hoping they get Hughes. I want a hard-hitting defenseman too, but there's not anyone else that you would get. I think maybe Kent Johnson's a higher pick here, but I think Johnson might be the better player, the best player in the draft. But the Devils got to go defense. And remember in 2018 or 2017 when they went for Nico Hischier, pick number 4 was sitting Cal Makar, who was very similar to Hughes. So they missed out on an offensive quarterback defenseman. And then the year after that, Quinn Hughes went to Vancouver. So this would be the Devils' chance to get it on one of the worst defenses in the league and one of the worst penalty kills. Hopefully Eklund, and rumors that are we might trade for Timo Meier for probably our 29th pick. 29th pick? We don't have 2 first-round selections, I don't think. The Devils.
Yeah, I think they do.
Oh, that I know nothing.
Yeah, you're stupid.
but he's
Yeah.
instant offense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them either go Luke Hughes
That's
or
a
Greg
big
Parker.
one.
What about you, Brooks?
Draft.
Different options, different kind of defenseman.
Hold on. I'm gonna look draft order.
It's probably maybe a little too high for the goalie talk, but there is a little. There's some. Gunther's pretty good. There's some options here. Yeah, William Eklund as well could play with Jack Hughes. He's a sick winger. Commissioner Gary Bettman will introduce the Devils.
Devils pick now.
From the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, obviously at a viewing party.
I would go Hughes. Let's see if they do. Devils pick is in. Columbus is on the clock.
Will make the fourth selection in the 2021 NHL draft.
Yeah, you're right. Devils do have the first round pick, 29.
It's great to see everybody here finally live at the Prudential Center.
They have Hughes signs up. Luke Hughes the second. So there's going to be booing if they don't take Hughes. Packed house in Jersey, too. It's awesome.
With the fourth overall pick, the New Jersey Devils are proud to present the pick from the USA Development Program, Luke Hughes.
It's Hughes! It's Hughes! Luke Hughes, the fourth overall selection. He will join his brother Jack. The Devils take the Hughes brother. Love it. The third pick in 4 picks of a University of Michigan player. The second Michigan defenseman to go, Luke Hughes. And there he gets the big hug by his brother Jack. Quinn is hugging him and really happy, but Jack's super excited because they're going to play together on the same ice. We'll see if Luke Hughes does make the team, but this year, if not next year, Luke Hughes, the biggest Hughes, will be 6'2". He's actually not as short as I had initially thought, so he will be out there for the Devils. This is a good pickup. Love this pick. They got the best player available. They got a defenseman. This was key. This was the smart pick. This was the right pick. And the Devils did pretty good there. So Luke Hughes, very Makar-like. He's a smart defenseman. He could really shoot the puck. Really shoot the puck. In fact, he's got a bigger shot, like a real faster and rougher shot from that trajectory and that spin back than you'd think.
What's interesting about it was the fact that he played a large portion of the season on his offside. So now, when he transitions to the National Hockey League, that's not going to be a surprise for him. Right-handed defenseman, always difficult to come by. This left shot can play the right side as well. That's the added value for the player. But here's some of the things that he does similar to what his brothers do. Extreme amount of confidence with the puck to do anything at any time. There's Quinn Hughes. Oh, yeah, I'm the last guy. Little dipsy do, no problem. I'll take it out of the zone. I'm not worried about being backed up. I'm confident with the puck. All right.
Luke Hughes also really confident guy. Smart, strong, great with the puck. Boy, he's got some good wheels, just like his brothers Quinn and Jack. And this is, again, forget the whole fact that it's a Hughes brother and, it's this and that. And Jack Hughes recommended him, and he's one of the faces of the franchise. Luke Hughes is also, you needed a defenseman. You needed a defenseman because the penalty kill was awful. The defense was bad, was just real bad. And now you've got one. Now you've got a good one. GDD's Blue Jackets are on the clock. You have to go offense here. I think there's only 2 players you could take here, Trent. And that's William Eklund or Kent Johnson.
Yeah, incredible. The thing about the Hughes family, the kids, is they all look 15, so it tells me that there's room for growth. They're so good and so talented, but lots of room for growth. As a general manager, you don't want a guy with a full beard showing up at your head.
And I'm pumped. He's playing college hockey this year at Michigan, Frozen Four in Boston. Quinn brought Michigan to the Frozen Four, didn't quite get the job done.
and maybe his brother Luke can help bring them to that championship.
Apparently Luke is probably going back to college again, like Bernier's will, which is fine. The Devils don't need him immediately. They already have another young offensive-minded defenseman in Ty Smith. Now, Columbus, of course, entered the day with 2 picks. They end the day with 2 picks, but different picks. They get pick 12, but they give up the 32nd pick and a few other picks, and to give up Seth Jones. They have Bachvist, and they will be taking probably a forward.
I think you take the guy that's going to be the best again. Knowing you have 12 right behind you. Yeah. Your forecast selections, are that dangerous? I think that's a little dangerous. That's a little tough of a spread. Here, this high of a pick, I think you're going to think the guy that's going to be the best over time. They have a number of picks. Let's reset it.
Simon Edmondson and Brent Clark are also good, but they're defensemen, and there would be I don't see why Columbus would draft a defenseman here. You got to go Eklund. I mean, you could go Kent Johnson. That's not a bad idea. But Eklund is big. I think Detroit would actually be happy if Columbus takes William Eklund, because I think Detroit would behoove themselves to get Kent Johnson, like I had in my mock draft. Well, Columbus's pick is in. Let's see who it is. John Davidson's going to announce it here in Columbus.
Thank you, Gary. On behalf of our ownership group led by John McConnell, our staff, coaches, and players, I want to thank all the great fans here tonight at Nationwide Arena. Thank you. Fifth line, it's great to see you again. To make our first pick in the 2021 National Hockey League Draft, I would like to introduce a great and longtime fan of the Blue Jackets, an Ohio guy, a former captain of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and one of the best broadcasters in the business, ESPN's own Kirk Street.
Maybe. Don't worry, man. I wish I could be there. I know how the fifth line can get fired up, and some great memories.
They're doing the Columbus pick. They're just doing some window dressing with it. Kirk Herbstreit, who works for ESPN with college football, who played Ohio State, is going to announce the pick for Columbus.
And look forward to trying to get back to the postseason. Exciting time. This young man's name I'm about to read is about to play for the most passionate and loyal fan base, I think, in the NHL. So with the 5th pick in the 2021 NHL Draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets select center Kent Johnson.
Okay, it's Kent Johnson. That's a bit of a shocker. Another Michigan player. Kent Johnson, the center. That's 4 Michigan picks and 5 picks. Ridiculous by the University of Michigan. Kent Johnson, the second Canadian-born player, along with Power, third Canadian player with McTavish and Power to go from British Columbia, Port Moody. He will go to the Columbus Blue Jackets as a center. So they wanted center depth. I thought Eklund, but they go for the center depth, which they get. He's a net driver. So no Kent Johnson for Detroit. Now, Detroit, you go Eklund here. He is a real physical player. He's got size. He's a pretty skilled, fast guy too, and this helps them. I really thought they were going to go Eklund here. I thought, Jarmo Kekalainen, and the scouts, the Baltic players. Eklund's the best player in Europe. He could line up with Line A. It just kind of works. But Kent Johnson, this is a bit of a. This is the first pick. Like, yes, I thought Bernier's was going to go first, but I wasn't overly shocked. I just thought it positionally they wouldn't go with Power because there was no need for a defenseman. But then there was the line and trade. Then there was a need for a defenseman. But pretty much up to this point, I have not been shocked. This is the first real shock. And it's not that Kent Johnson, he was one of the 2 players. I said there's only 2 players you should draft. It's Johnson or Eklund. But I thought Eklund would have fit a bit better with Columbus than Johnson will. But they do get centers, so that will help them. Of course, they have to address the defensive position. But they don't. You're not going to address that at 5. You can address that at 12 if you want, or tomorrow.
Speaking of Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, the Red Wings are on the clock. They love Stevie Y. He can do no wrong. He's got lots of room in this rebuilding process, but with limited patience, what will the Red Wings do?
Are people just gonna walk?
Detroit's on the clock right now. They're going to go to commercial. Steve Yzerman is going to have a pick. Now, I think that Steve Yzerman is kind of – I could see this getting traded, guys. I could see them trading this pick away. Because I think Steve Yzerman was saying, all right, Jarmo Kekalainen's going to take William Eklund. We know what William Eklund is, but we have another Swedish player we drafted last year. We like Kent Johnson a lot. Let's go take Kent Johnson. He's a North American center. We know how he'll play. He can go back to Michigan for a year. We know how to develop him. And also, we kind of watch him because he's in Michigan. Now Columbus takes Kent Johnson, and now you're kind of throwing a bit of a curveball if you're Steve Yzerman. Because what?
Look at the TikTok I put on these.
I don't care.
I don't care.
But now you're into the interesting position where it's kind of like just it's I don't know how many people would have thought, but now you're in this. Now you're with this, and you have to figure out what you want. Now let's see who's available. You could go ahead. And you could take William Eklund, as we said. You could take Aatu Ratti, although I will let you know that I am falling off of this couch and bashing my head into the wall. If they take Aatu Ratti, he's not a bad player, but he's not great defensively, and to drop him at 6 is not good, in my opinion. Now, what do I know? But still. Remember when they took Sider at 6, and Sider was supposed to go around pick 25. And Sider apparently is going to be great. Steve Yzerman knows what he's picking. But to me, I could really see this being a trade. Eklund's available. Genther's available, who's probably the best North American winger right now. You could go with Brandt Clark. You could go with Simon Edvinsson. That's the Swedish defenseman, top defenseman in Europe. Brandt Clark. You could go Kosa, but you're not going to go Kosa. No way. Sebastian Kosa is the number 1 rated goalie, and with the Nedeljkovic trade, there's no way they would do that. Detroit's pick is in. Yeah, they show again Power being picked by Buffalo. Detroit's pick is in, but they haven't announced this stuff yet.
I think it's pretty special. I didn't sign that dream. It didn't go my whole life. And, I don't know if my younger self would really believe that. So.
Well, believe it, it's real, and you are officially a member of the Buffalo Sabres. You and I talked about this before. You have a decision ahead of you to play for the Sabres this coming season or to go back to school. You've said before you're leaning towards school. How do you feel in this moment about that choice?
I'm not thinking about it too much right now. I'm just trying to
Power said he's probably close to going back to college instead of going to the Sabres. And, a lot of these Michigan players, they go to college for one more year, and then they make it to the NHL. You have that other year of experience under your belt. That helps, of course. You don't want to get thrown into the NHL out of nowhere. So.
The emotion in his voice, first time USHL alumnus have gone 1-2 in the NHL. NHL draft. So now the Red Wings are on the clock. It's Little Caesars Arena. That's where they are convening for their draft room. Steve Yzerman, what does he do? Where does he go?
Steve Yzerman about to ready to pick out for Detroit. Chris Draper there as well, and all of the Detroit Red Wing scouts and the Red Wing brass. Pick is in for Detroit.
Is Harold Washington Jr. Harold represents the thousands of children in the city of Detroit,
Mamá va a decir.
experiencing the joys of learning.
De afuera le molestamos. Vaya, Alexia.
Harold, take it away.
Dale, de afuera le molestamos. Thank you, Peter. Bye.
Sorry. Here's the pick.
From Frölunda, Sweden, defenseman Simon Edmundson.
Simon Edmundson. Okay, that's a bit weird. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. That's a bit weird, though. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm okay with it. He plays for probably the greatest Swedish program ever, for Lunda. Plays for the junior team, though. He's not going to jump in Detroit immediately. This is good to have defensive depth. I thought when I heard from Sweden, I was like, oh, here's Eklund. And then they said Simon Edmundson. And I kind of, it didn't make immediate sense because they went to the car. Simon Edmundson is a really smart defenseman. He can pinch. He can hit. He's really physical, too, which helps them. So that's another defenseman gone. So Eklund will continue to fall. But Simon Edmundson for the Detroit Red Wings. And now San Jose will be on the clock. But I like this. It's not what I was expecting. I think Steve Yzerman was expecting Kent Johnson, but no Kent Johnson. It's like we didn't really like Eklund that much, but we did like Edmundson, so we'll take Edmundson. And maybe they would have taken Edmundson with pick 6 if Eklund would have gone 5 with Johnson and Edmundson there. But they do take Edmundson, so now we get to pick 7, and you run into the spot of the San Jose Sharks. With the San Jose Sharks, interestingly, are one of the teams that have probably, just like Buffalo, have so many holes to fill. I say you go Brant Clark here. I don't think you go Edmundson. Eklund. I think you go Brant Clark, Canadian defenseman.
You want to carry it? Well, yeah, you carried it. You carried it earlier. You did.
About 2:45 to go on the clock right now for the Sharks.
For you when you come. If he doesn't want it, can't make people here.
Right, we did math right. 100 tens and 1. Entonces, domingo, otra página, ¿verdad, mamá?
Yeah, Edmondson's not going to play this year, but the Red Wings are pushing. Now, will Sider play this year is what I'm wondering. It doesn't have to, though. But this will be good. Second European, of course. First European player. It's funny, is the first guy from Europe that was taken, Simon Edmundson, to Detroit, is they're interviewing Beignets right now. Matty Beignets, who now plays for the Kraken.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, snakes are cool too.
Sharks, what do you guys think? Where do you guys think the Sharks go? I'm saying Brant Clark. Trent, I'm going to put you back on Hockey Talk. I'm saying Brant Clark. Where do you think he goes? Or not Brant Clark, excuse me. Where do you think San Jose goes?
How special was it to share this experience with them, and how much did you guys talk leading up to tonight?
Yeah, I mean, talking about players based out of the stuff. I mean, I think it's so unbelievable watching them get captain. I think it was just as happy as it was growing. And literally, all of us, it's so cool. Just watching now, and just so much skill. It's not cool, so happy for him. It's awesome. I'm kind of lost for words right now. I'm just so excited for my teammates. What's next?
Well, you can tell the bond is genuine and special. I'm sure that group chat's going to be fire tonight. Enjoy the celebration and congratulations again on becoming one of the Seattle Kraken.
Thank you so much.
During his house.
Yes.
See that window?
Yes.
I've never had a window that
That's
was
sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
A lot of iron down there.
Yeah.
Sharks are on the top. Sharks are.
Okay, San Jose's pick is in, guys. Again,
Probably got a free meal.
To me, it really went wrong and really south with not resigning Joe Pavelski.
I would go Clark. We'll see where they do go.
With that core, but goal scoring, you can see they need offensive pop. They need somebody as a young player that can come in and be dynamic, make plays. Perhaps that's a Dylan Gunther here. They also need a young goalie too. They had that stalwart for years in the Nabokov. Martin Jones during his first few years, it was outstanding. Traded to the cup, but those are two areas of need for me with that.
They say goalie. I think defensively they need some help. They do have better defensemen, so maybe you go somewhere. Dylan Genther's a guy that's possibly available. He's still up there. Eklund we talked about. Eklund's a left wing. Genther's a right wing. So it depends at what side of the ice they feel that they're better equipped to play at. Again, I'm saying it's Brandt Clark. You could also go goalie. They did trade for Aiden Hill, though, so I don't feel like at 7 they would go there.
The 2021 NHL draft will be made by the San Jose Sharks. From the SAP Center is Doug Wilson Jr., Director of Scouting. Doug, the floor is yours.
The San Jose Sharks are proud to select from Djurgården, Sweden, William Eklund.
It's Eklund. Okay.
There you go. Is that Booyah in Swedish? It did sock up in that way. Yeah. Well, he's a slippery winger, tons of skill.
So William Eklund to the San Jose Sharks. It's a good pickup by them. The Sharks, of course, they said they'd take William Eklund. Eklund coming on through and it'll really help this team as he is a sharp, smart, big scoring player for the San Jose Sharks. Again, real good trade for San Jose. Good draft pick for San Jose as he will absolutely help them.
4 months ago, he turns 19 in
Eight.
October. And how much does age make a
Eight.
difference when you draft Jeff?
Yeah.
He's a real young guy. You gotta kind of protect
And you know what, guys? I was thinking about it since there are no viewers right now, and this is a long draft, and I do have work tomorrow. I'm actually going to end the stream. I'm not going to end the draft. I'm going to still watch the draft, but I usually go for 3 hours, but I'm kind of feeling a bit tired. So I guess this is the one time where we have a super short draft stream, only an hour. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the draft. I know we only got 7 picks, but sorry. Good night, everybody. Happy hockey, everybody.